All right, so what you're going to have are three separate videos going over the steps that you need to take in order to complete the writing prompt. And then you'll get to see a final example of the writing prompt. The first step would be to obviously have read the text, which we've already done that. So now we're going to look at the writing prompt and decide what it is that we're actually supposed to do to complete this activity. So I'll read through it first. You have just read the drive-in movies about the recollection of a young boy's childhood experience preparing to go to the drive-in. Write a narrative essay from the viewpoint of the mother depicting this particular event. Draw evidence from the text to describe how the mother responds to the events in the text compared to her son. Use narrative techniques as well as precise words and phrases, relevant descriptive, standard English, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling in your response. So let's go ahead and start by making our do what chart. So we'll have do and what exactly is it that you're going to have to do. So let's go with the first action in relation to the writing. So that would be to write. So now you need to ask yourself, what is it that I have to write? You have to write a narrative essay, which, to make it simple, that is just story. So you have to write a story. Your next step, well, let's go ahead and look at that a little bit more. So write a narrative essay from the viewpoint. Viewpoint just means the point of view. That's just, it's going to be what she saw. So viewpoint of the mother depicting this particular event. So story as if you were the mom. Depicting just means explaining. So what did she see? What did she experience that day? So this is going to be the first thing that you need to think about what you have to do. Okay, let's go on to the next action that we see in the writing prompt. So you have to draw. It's going to be the second thing that you have to make sure you include. What is it you draw? Evidence. So this just means that in your writing, you're going to refer to events that actually occurred on that day. You can include some of your own creative details if you want to, but the important piece is that you have to include details from the text that actually occurred that day. You're not creating some brand new story, you're just recreating this one. So it's evidence from the text to describe how the mother responds to the event in the text compared to her son. So just how did she respond to all the events? Okay, our next action is to use narrative techniques as well as precise words and phrases, relevant descriptive standard English, capitalization, punctuation, and spelling in your response. All right, so negative or narrative techniques. So you need to use some examples would be dialogue, transition words, which would be things like at the beginning of the day, later in the day, that night. All of that shows a transition between time periods. We have dialogue, transition words, and we'll go with descriptive details. There are a lot more narrative techniques that you can include. Those are just three that come to mind right now. So you also have to use precise words and phrases. That goes with your descriptive details. Relevant descriptive standard English. Again, more descriptive details describing how she felt, what she thought. Capitalization, punctuation, and spelling. So that goes with, let's just focus on that, calling it conventions and make it easier. And you'll be held accountable to the correct conventions that you use on the writing. So if you have multiple misspelled words, if you're missing punctuation, Simple things that by sixth grade you should know. You'll lose points on your final grade if you have a lot of errors in conventions. So this right here shows you how to deconstruct the writing prompt. The next video will show how to analyze the text sum and then complete a graphic organizer to help you plan out your writing.